Grandpa, the HOA lady is climbing our fence again, I yelled, holding my half-eaten Pop-Tart and looking out the kitchen window. Margaret Hensley was the boss lady of our neighborhood rule group called the Homeowners Association. She was trying to climb over our tall fence like she was in a cheap action movie. Her bright yellow vest was glowing, her paper holder was shiny, and she put soft pads on her knees so she wouldn't fall again like last week. But her eyes looked really angry, like she would swim through hot lava just to catch someone with a crooked mailbox. Grandpa Walt was sitting on the porch swing and didn't look up from his coffee. "Fourth time this week," he said quietly. "She's asking for trouble now." This wasn't just about being mean to each other. It was about who had power, whose land was whose, and a big fight over lawn flamingos, solar lights, and wind chimes that she said were too happy. It all started 3 months ago when Grandpa Walt moved in to watch me. I'm Ethan, a 15-year-old who loves video games. My parents were working in another country. Grandpa used to work for the Navy and knew how to fix things. He had too many tools and got mad easily. He thought the HOA was really dumb. In the first week, Margaret gave us a mean fine because our mailbox was the wrong color of blue-green. Then she said Grandpa's flamingo collection looked terrible. But the real problem started when we caught her in our yard measuring our bushes like she was a detective at a crime scene. She didn't ask permission or knock on our door. She said the HOA rules let her go anywhere she wanted. Grandpa almost spit out his coffee that night. He went into the garage for 6 hours. We thought he was making a bird feeder. We were wrong. Now, Margaret was climbing our fence again, and it all came back to me. Last week she had fallen face first into our fish pond while chasing a garden flag she didn't like. Her wet shoes left marks all over the lawn. Grandpa had laughed then, but today, he was too quiet. Margaret landed in a crouch and crawled toward the herb garden like a crazy office worker. Grandpa drank his coffee, looked at the porch camera screen, and smiled. "Watch this," he said. A sharp click sound happened. A hidden sprinkler popped up and sprayed her with green-colored water. It was Grandpa's special mix of food coloring and mint oil that was supposed to keep away deer and nosy people. She screamed, slipped, and crashed into the oregano plants. "You're not allowed on our property," I called from the doorway. She got up with her clipboard held up like a shield. Her vest was dripping. Grandpa walked over, opened the gate, and said, "No need to climb. The exit is right here." She stomped past us, talking about taking us to court. He gave her a plastic sign that said, "Trespassers may be sprayed." By lunch, our neighbor Tim had shared the video in the neighborhood group chat with the words, "Green Goblin down, Porch Admiral wins." Someone replied, "I'll bring popcorn for the next fight." At dinner, Grandpa told us something shocking. "We're putting wires on the gate tomorrow," he said, pushing away his meatloaf. I choked on my Sprite. "Is that allowed?" "Only if she's dumb enough to touch it," he smiled. The garage became his war room. He pinned blueprints to the walls. Timers and wires were everywhere on the work table. I swear I saw him test a sensor with a cantaloupe. For a guy who hadn't worn a military uniform in many years, this was his battlefield, and he was having fun. That night on the porch, I asked, "Why do you hate her so much?" He rocked back and forth quietly, then said, "She thinks she owns us, sneaks into our yard, makes rules nobody voted for. People like that steal your freedom." It made sense. This wasn't about flamingos, it was about respect. The garage looked like a crazy scientist's hideout. Cables were everywhere over the toolboxes. Soda cans were stacked like trophies. The air was thick with the smell of melted metal. Grandpa showed me his creation, the Gate Zapper 3000. It was a low-power electric circuit on the side gate that turned on when it sensed movement. There was a camera hidden in a birdhouse to record everything. That evening, we set up camp. We had 2 lawn chairs, a bag of burritos, and Grandpa's old night vision goggles. We waited quietly. The gate was shining like a trap. "This is probably against the law," I whispered while eating. "Only if we post it online," he said, "and only if she takes us to court." At 1:47 in the morning, the sensor blinked. Margaret appeared dressed in all black. Her clipboard was strapped on like a soldier's gun. Her hoodie said, "Order is unity." She crawled under the rose bushes and climbed the gate, talking about illegal plant holders. When her hand touched the wired vine, a soft zap sparked. She jumped back. One sneaker flew off, and she screamed loud enough to wake up the whole block. She fell into the wood chips, looked confused, then limped away while cursing about invisible rules. Grandpa raised his burrito like he had won a prize. Now she'll respect us. By morning, Tim had edited the video with cartoon sound effects and posted it. The zap and crash sound spread like wildfire. It went to local meme pages, then Reddit, then a viral TikTok with circus music. By dinner, Grandpa was Gate Admiral trending across the whole country. Teenagers on Twitter acted out Margaret's fall. I begged Grandpa to delete it. He shrugged. If I'm arrested, tell them to spell my name right. But the HOA fought back hard. A big envelope arrived stamped, urgent violation. Margaret's fancy handwriting screamed anger. To Walter James Carson, your electric gate breaks safety rules. Remove it in 24 hours or face legal action. Grandpa read it in a mocking voice while cooking bacon. They spelled deterrent wrong. I stared. You're stopping, right? He pointed at the camera screen. That clipboard is the real danger. I got nervous. Playing tricks on Margaret was one thing. Fighting an HOA with lawyers was something else. But Grandpa was excited, calling the yard his DMZ and drawing plans for Zapper 2.0. He gave me a walkie-talkie for emergencies. That night, a humming sound woke me up. Outside, a drone was hovering. Its red light was staring. It was marked Maple. Grove HOA surveillance. I banged on Grandpa's door. He peeked out with popcorn in his hand. They're spying, I whispered. He squinted, then smiled. Time to teach it some manners. The next day, Maple Grove was like a circus. Neighbors moved their lawn chairs for better views. A picture from the Zap video was pinned to the bulletin board saying, "The shock felt around the block." The HOA put out an emergency meeting flyer full of mean, polite anger. Order must prevail. Grandpa buttered his toast like nothing was wrong. The clubhouse was packed, fluorescent lights, stale cookies, and enough tension to choke a room. Margaret sat at the board table with a neck brace on and Band-Aids covering her arms. Next to her was Victor Clean, the HOA president, real estate big shot, and owner of a voice so snooty it could turn milk sour. He stood with his hands together like a preacher. Our community is under attack by reckless rebellion, he said in a deep voice, glaring at Grandpa. This electric gate attack on an officer is chaos. Margaret fake coughed. Tim whispered. She climbed his fence. Victor raised his hand. Starting. Right now, Walter Carson faces a $600 daily fine, going back to when this started. Gasps echoed. My jaw dropped. That was thousands of dollars. If he continues, Victor sneered, we will pursue trespassing, endangerment, and harassment charges. Grandpa stood up slow and calm. I fixed tanks while being shot at, he said. I've seen grown men cry over broken radios, but I've never seen a woman sneak into my yard, then complain when she trips. I didn't zap the street. I protected my home. She put herself in danger. Tim clapped. Others joined in. Grandpa faced Victor. You want order? Respect my property line. You don't rule my porch unless you're paying my taxes. Victor's face turned bright red. Court it is, he spat. Grandpa smiled. I'm free on Wednesdays. The neighborhood exploded. Gate Admiral became a hashtag. People picked sides. The HOA doubled down, sending drones, bigger, meaner ones, tracking Grandpa like he was a criminal. He spent a day in the garage with his buddy Carl on speakerphone, building a counter-drone buster. It was a repurposed leaf blower with LEDs and a speaker playing loud static. One night, Buster chased an HOA drone, blinding it with light bursts. It flew away wobbling. But the next day, 3 drones swarmed, scanning our yard like sci-fi police. Victor was losing his mind. A news crew showed up. A reporter named Sarah Vega asked Grandpa for a quote. I fought for this country, he said. If someone's counting my flamingos, they'd better bring a warrant. The clip went viral with memes of Grandpa holding a hose like a flamethrower. Flamingo freedom trended. The HOA posted signs saying, "No filming without permission." Then a thick envelope arrived from the Regional Homeowners Council, accusing Grandpa of surveillance disruption. That night, a drone dropped a box on our lawn. Inside was a tiny flamingo with a Unity Through Rules flag. Grandpa put it next to Buster. "Let him send gifts," he said. "We're not done." Then the neighborhood lost it. It started small. Mrs. Kim added a flamingo by her mailbox. The Millers put up 4, one dressed as a pirate. Soon lawns were full of flamingos, hundreds of them. A pink rebellion. Victor gave out fines. $100 for lawn clutter, $600 for starting trouble. He tried to take away a flamingo and got chased by a poodle. Grandpa stayed quiet, planning. He built a tiny drawbridge over the garden path with a sign, reading "Zone of Freedom, trespassers will be amused." It sold as merchandise online. Victor cracked 3 days later, pounding on our door. "You're done, Carson," he roared, waving papers. "You broke emergency bylaws. No porch sitting, no gardening." "That's not real," I said. "It is now," he snapped. "Unanimous board vote." "You are the board," Grandpa said. Then the street came alive. Mrs. Kim placed a flamingo at our gate. Tim added one with a Buster Rules sign. Neighbors poured out, piling flamingos, cowboys, chefs, superheroes. A quiet man, Mr. Lee, handed Victor a petition. "To remove you," he said. Victor stammered. "You can't." "We're rewriting the rules," Mrs. Kim said. Victor backed away, speechless. Margaret, late and braced, ran to her car. By dawn, Victor's yard was empty. Rumors said he'd run away to Nevada. The HOA didn't die. It changed. Neighbors elected a fair board, scrapped drone patrols, and lifted the flamingo ban. Buster got a foil medal. Grandpa just rocked, saying, "It's not about winning, it's about reminding folks they can be weird." A blog I wrote called The Maple, Grove Mutiny, went viral. A late-night show invited us to New York. TSA triple-scanned Buster on air. Grandpa said, "Some lady thought my fence was her playground. I just gave her a spark." The crowd roared. He skipped book deals and sponsorships. "Too many rules," he said. Back home, kids biked by, tourists snapped Buster pics, and a mural rose. Grandpa, amid flamingos, captioned, "Guard your yard." The new HOA sent an apology. Margaret vanished to a smile-required condo in Florida. One day, Grandpa handed me a letter, a tech camp scholarship sparked by my Buster work. "They're lucky to have you," he said. I stayed on the porch, wind chimes humming. A new HOA guy appeared at our fence, clipboard in hand. Grandpa clicked the camera. Remote. "Welcome to Maple Grove," he said. Buster turned toward the gate.